Hey, it's Tina from Ideas and Embellishment. Hi. And Coda. I'm sure you'll hear from him. Right, Co? Yes. So I decided that I want to do a new series. We'll see how it goes, because you know, me and new series. But one of the things that I really have been spending most of my time doing lately is making junk journals. And I know that there are lots of videos out there where people are doing different things with journals, and I hopefully I can do some of that, but my main focus has actually been on making journals. And so I thought that I would share my process with you. So the very first thing, you need to do when making a junk journal is to decide what kind of journal that you want to make. That's important. You can do a blank journal to work in. Let me show you some examples. Like this one I've had for a long, long time. Not forever, but you know, for a while. This is my personal journal, and I made it a long time ago, and I really love it. What I did, this has got a hidden spine, but mostly it's just different kinds of papers in here, and so and I use like notebook papers and different things like that, and some digital. This is what I play in. So it is just, when you make this type of journal, you just have to realize nobody's going to see it but you. It's not something that you're going to sell. It's something that you're going to play in. So it's like what I use this journal for is when I see something, like when I look at Barbara 49 Dragonflies or something like that, or one of those wonderful artists, and I see something, I'm like, oh, that looks so cool, I want to make that. Then that's what I do. I pull out this and I use it. And I have a couple of these different ones, but this is the one that I use just to play in. I would consider this to be a blank journal. It's all very personal, and so that's one type you could make. Another kind is an art journal. An art journal, this is a little art journal that I made out of an envelope. It basically is a journal, but you can draw in it, and I add pictures and different things like that. And this is more like, for me, an art journal is like a therapy journal. So it's like when I'm having issues with something and I want to just, you know how, I don't know if any of you journal, but sometimes when you write things down, it kind of gets them out of your system. So that's what I use this for. And I just like acid reflux. I'm so tired of being sick. So I did research, and it just made me feel better. Just stick it all in a journal. And sometimes I do things like, anyway. So I consider this to be an art journal. Another type of journal is an interactive journal. An interactive journal is one I consider to be, you don't really work in it. It's just something that you would want to, this is Little Cottontail, is my favorite one. One of the ones I did. And this is an altered book. It has a book in it. It's not an altered book, but mostly it's just an interactive. It's one that you can turn around and find stuff, and it was just a whole lot of fun putting it together. It's not something, I guess you could write in it, but it's not something that I really decided that I wanted to write in. It was something that I thought people could, look at and find things. And this is a great type of journal for a young person, because it's so much fun, because they get to, find all of these things. And there is places to write, little secret places. So anyway, I would consider this to be a really interactive journal. And it's a lot of fun to make, and it's a lot of fun to keep. And I really enjoyed making this when I made it. It was a lot of fun. And this is cute. Look, these are all like pictures. It's one of my favorite things. I got this from Corey. She has a lot of interactive videos, Corey Danham. So anyway, that is what I consider to be a interactive journal. Not really, it's a lot of fun to make, not really anything that you need to do. The other thing is a themed journal. The last thing is a theme journal. This is the theme from Defemember. So I made this only to put things for Defemember. So I guess I could still work in it some, but mostly I made this journal so that I could, follow along with them. And I don't know if I'm going to do that again this year, but last year I did that and it was a lot of fun. The other kind of journal is, another theme journal is one that, and I'm not going to show you a whole lot of this one, but if you have a set of digitals that, like, say you want to do let's say you wanted to do a journal. As a matter of fact, let's just say you wanted to do a journal about mountains, okay? And let me preface this by saying, if by some chance you contact me and you say, I really want you to try to make a journal like this, or it would be really cool, if I make it, and because I love a challenge, do not feel like if I put it in my Etsy shop, do not feel like you have to purchase it. You do not have to purchase it. If you say, I really want this this kind of journal, and you decide, I don't want to purchase this, that's fine and dandy. Somebody else will, and it is okay. I do not expect you to. It's more like, wow, I want to try that. So if you want to do something, a theme journal, then you can have a theme. Like I have, like the one that I had that was a travel journal. Remember that one? And I put that on my page. There's this one, which is the mountain journal. There's this one that is a autumn fairy journal, which I did as a design project for Victoria Designs, which hopefully a tutorial will be out, so I can't really show it to you yet, but it is a theme journal. So that's the first thing. You have to decide what kind of journal you want to make, okay? So after that, then you have to do your research. What I'm saying is you have to figure out what kind of papers you want in your journal. So let's say it's the blank type of journal. Then it really just decide what you can find. You can make tea-dyed papers, like in this one. Let me see, go back to this one. Tea-dyed papers, like these are papers. Like this is a coffee-dyed paper that I made, and this is just a stamp. And then this is music paper that I got out of a book. Notebook paper. This is notebook paper. More music paper. This is more notebook paper that I stenciled. It's a different kind of notebook paper. I put doilies in here. There's just all kinds of stuff that you can put in there. Sometimes you can find scrapbook paper. One-sided scrapbook paper. If you want to print out some digitals, you can use plain paper and stencil it. I mean, just whatever. You just have to come up with however many papers you want to put in your journal. And that is, if it's a blank journal, that's fine. And it really just depends on what you can find or what you can make. A lot of people want to find old vintage papers, like old music papers and stuff like that, and that's fine. But I think that's awesome. But remember, if you're going to be working in it, you're probably going to be covering that stuff up. So, unless you just want to have it there, But you can also, so that just really just depends on what you can find. And it doesn't really matter. It's just yours. And you're going to be, like this is a piece of notebook paper. And I did this over it and just embellished it. So if it's a blank journal, you're just going to have to figure out what pages and find the papers. And that's really it. You can, like I said, you can use junk mail, notebook paper, regular paper. Excuse me, I'm going to get some Coke, Diet Coke. I've seen people take papers and dye them with food coloring, which is kind of cool. Excuse me. So there's lots of ways you can make papers. I've seen people use newspapers, magazine papers, whatever. Look on YouTube. You can find all kinds of different ideas. A lot of people will use magazine papers or old magazines and stuff like that. Okay, so if you want to do a theme journal, and you have to decide on the theme. What theme do you want? Well, then you have to find papers to match the theme. So my go-to is Etsy, of course. I go to Etsy. Sometimes I will, when I'm researching, I also go to Pinterest. I go to Pinterest and I look around and I see what kind of stuff I like. It's like, wow, that's cool. I like that. Like, I've seen a lot of steampunk journals and different things like that, or you can go online and say, oh, I want to do a journal like that, or I want to do a journal about roses, or I want to do a journal about daffodils, or I want to do a journal about birds. You could do whatever. Then you can go and find the papers to match the theme. You can use a digital kit. I love digital kits, and there's a lot of places out there that have really amazing digital kits, like the Autumn Fairies. Well, here, this one is another one I did for Victoria Design. It's a explorer journal, and there is so many. I mean, the papers, and this one also, another tutorial is going to be coming up. But the papers are there. The digital kit basically does it for you. You just have to put it together. You just have to put it together. And the way you put it together, well, I'll go over that later. So once you find a theme, then you have to find the papers to match the theme. Another thing that you can do is go to, let me see, where's my, can I do my paper? Oh, over here. Is you can go to the public domain, and I will link that down below. Like, these are mountain pictures, and I got these pictures off of public domain. And what I did was I put them into a program. I use PowerPoint just because I'm very familiar with it. A lot of people use Canva, and it's for free. But I use PowerPoint. So I put all these, and I printed out these pictures, and so these are mountain pictures that I found on public domain. And I also found a kit that is talking about different things like camping and different things. And I going ahead and I added some of that too. The main reason that I did that is because I wanted to find ephemera. The only problem with going to public domain and finding things is that it's hard to find ephemera, and which I mean are like tickets and envelopes and tags and different things like that. And it's hard to make them. And I mean, as far as, it's really not. I mean, you could take papers and just kind of cut them out, but I like to find them. So one of the things I want to do for myself is learn how to make my own ephemera, and then that way I can put a kit or whatever. Okay. So once you get all of your papers, then you need to decide on a cover. Covers, easy. Covers. You can make an altered book. This cover used to be a book. It was a book, just an old book, and I think I put a different spine on it. But that's easy. The other thing you can do is use chipboard. This right here is chipboard. See, it's thick chipboard. I didn't even bother covering it. But chipboard. A lot of times Barbara 49 Dragonflies will make. We'll make them out of paper bags. You can use a paper bag. This is a paper bag, and it's covered. This is a Ephemerimber a couple years ago, and it's a paper bag. That's what it is, and it makes a really cool cover. And I just covered it with fabric, and you might even be able to see some of the writing into there, but I don't care because it's mine, you know. And it was another thing that I did for a Ephemerimber challenge. So, and then I just put a piece of chipboard on the front. I added a different kind of fabric. But anyway, this is one that's made out of just packaging or a paper bag. So you can make your cover, and there are lots of YouTube videos on how to make a cover, or a combination of both. This is the cover, this cover that I made. I showed you, I think I did a tutorial on how to make it the other day. I hadn't had it embellished yet, but I did this cover and I showed you how to make it. Then you can embellish once you have the cover, and you know, usually depending on the size of your cover, that's how I decide on the size of my papers that go inside. And so that's it. And once you get all of your things going on and you know exactly what it is you want to do, let's say you get a digital kit. You need to make the pages, and basically you need to cut the pages out. If your pages are bigger, a lot of the digital kits are a certain size. What I do is I will usually make the cover first, because depending on what kind of materials I have or what kind of altered book I want to use, then I will take the cover and I will make the pages to fit inside the cover. And that's basically using your printer and scaling your pages to fit. And that's kind of trial and error. I do a couple of them and then I write down, like these are all scaled at 95%. So that's what I do. So anyway, that's part 1 on my process for making a junk journal. Let me know what kind of junk journal you prefer. Do you like the altar book? Do you like the cover using chipboard? Do you like the packaging or paper bag? What kinds of things do you think you would be able to use in making a junk journal? Or just a journal, to be honest. So let me know. And until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.